Alright, what's up guys? So this will be my first Kagurabachi video. Hopefully in a series of videos I continue as the series goes on. Me and my friends recently read the entire series over the course of like a few weeks. Honestly, one of the best series I've read so far. Probably one of my favorite new gen, to be honest. But today I'm going over the abilities of Tobimune, Samura's Enchanted Blade, and just kind of explaining all of his capabilities and explaining a little bit of his abilities as well, since they kind of go hand in hand, because the wielders and the enchanted blades kind of like overlap in a way. But yeah, so anyway, let's get into it. So this enchanted blade, much like the rest of them, has three different distinct functions. The first one being crow, the second one being owl, and the last one being phoenix. Well, it's actually called Suzaku, which is a mythical bird in Eastern myth. While it's similar to the phoenix, it's not exactly the same. However, I think phoenix sounds cooler, so I'm gonna be calling it that. But yeah, it's got a real bird theme, if you couldn't tell. Now, starting with the first one, crow. Crow manifests itself as black feathers spreading across a certain area. This allows the wielder to swap places with any of the feathers, as well as swap the location of Tobimune with any of the feathers. This makes his speed and mobility in any fight pretty insane, pretty much making Samurai the fastest character we've seen in the series, and he was already pretty fast before that, so you can kind of see how this makes him even more dangerous. The next ability is Owl. This ability manifests as a giant kind of owl face in the sky, blocking out everything. Now this massively expands his sensory capabilities to whatever the owl eyes are able to gaze over. And Samurai was able to expand this to cover the entirety of Japan, so a pretty insane feat for this series. However, making the range that wide does make it less potent, so he can only really sense things of high spiritual energy like the other enchanted blades. However, when in a smaller radius, he is able to track somebody pretty easily. And this ties into his, I would say, like general kind of ability in a way, quote unquote. He kind of has like a daredevil radar sense thing going on because he did blind himself. So he has to sense things through hearing, smell, and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of plays on that a little bit to enhance that kind of ability of his. Now the last and most interesting in my opinion is Phoenix. This ability causes the previously mentioned feathers to ignite into flames, and they will begin to heal the user. And this can heal some pretty fatal wounds. So its ability to regenerate is pretty impressive. And these flames will burn anyone other than the owner of Tobimune. Samurai is also able to impressively make an extension ability from Phoenix called Eternal. This allows him to heal others with the flames and can literally reverse damage and destruction of non-sentient physical objects. So he's able to like restore a building to its previous state before it got destroyed. It's pretty wild. And it can also heal the blade itself. So when the blade sustains damage or is cracked a little bit, he's able to use the flames to heal the blade. So he can also implant the flame into an attack, so when he kills somebody, he can bring them back to life later on. Kind of wild. So in summary, he can teleport the sword, he can expand the sensory capabilities to the size of a country, he can heal himself, heal others, reverse the damage of objects, and bring the dead back to life after killing them. Yeah, it's also good to remember the enchanted blades are have like default functions or basic functions. So the basic function would be like the teleporting and all that kind of stuff, and then the owl eyes expanding the sensory capabilities, and then just the basic form of the flames. But he's able to expand upon them and create more techniques or more abilities through the basic ones. And we kind of see this with Cloud Gouger when we first get introduced to it. When it's used by Sojo, who's really inexperienced with the blade, it takes a while for him to learn all the functions, and then once he does and he gains that stronger connection with the blade, he's able to expand upon those abilities and make them a lot more in depth and use them in a bunch of different types of ways. But yeah, so that's all the capabilities of Tobimune, as well as some of Samurai's specifically to him. Let me know what you guys think, and if you want more Kagurabachi videos. Peace out.